Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom, Yasharallah, man. Fucking part 3 to this bullshit. Most High willing, all praises to Yahweh. Most High willing, we'll get through this shit in this little round. We're just gonna jump right into it. Shout out to all the knights. You know what's up. Protocol number 20. Today we shall touch upon the financial program. I'm gonna try to get through this part as fast as I can because it's just a bunch of fucking bullshit. Like, some of it's good because some of it they're doing now and they're planning now, but like a lot of it's what they want to do in the future, so it's kind of a lot of fucking crap. So I'm gonna try to blow through as fast as I can to get to the good last 3 protocols after this, which are shorter. Today we shall touch upon the financial program, which I put off to the end of my report as being the most difficult, the crowning and the decisive point of our plans. So everything's, with their damn financial shit. Before entering upon it, I will remind you that I have already spoken before by way of a hint when I said that the sum total of our actions is settled by the question of figures. When we are come to our kingdom, our autocratic government will avoid, from a principle of self-preservation, sensibly burdening the masses of the people with taxes, remembering that it plays the part of father and protector. But as a state organization costs dear, it is necessary nevertheless. So, they want to try to avoid giving people taxes. They're just going to fuck with the taxes to make people seem like they're getting a good deal. It says, to obtain the funds required for it, it will therefore elaborate with particular precaution the question of equilibrium in this manner. Okay, here we go. Our ruler, in which the king will enjoy the legal fiction that everything is his state, in his state belongs to him, which may easily be translated into fact, will be enabled to resort to the lawful confiscation of all sums of every kind for the regulation of their circulation in the state. From this follows that taxation which will best be covered by a progressive tax on property. So, they can take away whatever the fuck funds they want, which they showed in Greece. They took everybody's money out of their bank accounts. But now they want to do a progressive tax on property. Because, they have a property tax now, but they want like a progressive one. In this manner, the dues will be paid without straitening or ruining anybody in the form of the percentage of the amount of property. The rich must be aware that this is their duty to place a part of their superfluities at the disposal of the state, since the state guarantees them security of possession of the rest of their property and the right of honest gains. I say honest, for the control of our over property will do away with robbery on a legal basis. So they think that they're gonna fix things and all their shit. They think their system's gonna work, but it fucking not. And they know that the rich have to help them fund the shit. This social reform must come from above, for the time is ripe for it. It is indispensable as a pledge of peace, right? Because they're all about their peace. The tax upon the poor man is a seed of revolution, and works to the detriment of the state, which in hunting after the trifling and missing the big, quite apart from this. A tax one capitalist diminishes the growth of wealth in private hands, in which we have these days concentrated it as a counterpoise to the government strength of the goyim, their state finances. So they purposely, get the capitalism going so that they could siphon the money into the hands of a few. This is and then in other places they employ their communism to distribute, to take away everything and make everybody one. It's a bunch of fuck shit, man. They own all these damn fucking governments. A tax increasing in a percentage ratio to capital will give much larger revenue than the present individual or property tax, which is useful to us now for the sole reason that it excites trouble and discontent among the goyim. So that's all their taxes are meant to do, is just to, excite trouble and discontent, man, to get you all riled up. The force upon which our kings will rest consists in the equilibrium and the guarantee of peace, for the sake of which things it is indispensable that the capitalists should yield up a portion of their incomes for the sake of the secure working of the machinery of the state. So they're going to make everybody that's rich give back a lot of that money. State needs must be paid by those who will not feel the burden and have enough to take from. Redistribution of wealth, right? Such a measure will destroy the hatred of the poor man for the rich, in whom he will see a necessary financial support for the state. Will see in him the organizer of peace and well-being, since he will see that it is this rich man who is paying the necessary means to attain these things. So first they're gonna pit the rich against the poor to fuck everything up, and then they're gonna like make the rich seem better in the eyes of the poor people, so that to make them seem like they're the ones that are dependent, that the state depends upon. And it says, in order that prayers of the education classes, or payers of the educated classes, should not too much distress themselves over the new payments, they will have full accounts given them of the destination of those payments, with the exception of such sums as will be appropriated for the needs of the throne and the administrative institutions. So they're going to control everybody's incomes and shit, through the chip and whatnot. That's what they plan on doing. They've been planning on doing. They've talked about it, all kinds of shit. They want to get everything electronic. He who reigns will not have properties of his own once all the state represented his patrimony, or else the one would be in contradiction to the other. The fact of holding private means would destroy the right of property in the common possessions of all. So, there's nobody's going to be able to own shit. Relatives of him who reigns, his heirs excepted, who will be maintained by the resources of the state. So, all the fucking king and shit's going to be paid up for by the people. Must enter the ranks of servants of the state, or must work to obtain the right to property. The privilege of royal blood must not serve for the spoiling of the treasury. So, they try to act like this shit ain't gonna turn into a big ass fuckfest, but you know what it is. Purchase, receipt of money, or inheritance will be subject to the payment of a stamp progressive tax. Any transfer of property, whether money or other, without evidence of payment of this tax will be strictly registered by names, and will render the former holder liable to pay interest on the tax from the moment of transfer of these sums up to the discovery of his evasion of declaration of the transfer. So they're going to LoJack everything to where every little thing you do, you have to pay a tax. Transfer documents must be presented weekly at the local treasury office with notifications of the name, surname, and permanent place of residence of the former and the new holder of the property. This transfer with register of names must begin from a definitive sum which exceeds the ordinary expenses of buying and selling of necessaries, and these will be subject to payment only by a stamp imposed of a definite percentage of that unit. So they just, it's stamp taxes to make you stamp. They'll make you pay money. They're gonna give you counts. Everything's just gonna be set up, man. It's gonna be a big old fucking thing. This is their, like, they think that they're so fucking cool because they came up with this shit. Just strike an estimate of how many times and such taxes as these will cover the revenue of the Goyim states. The state exchequer will have to maintain a definite complement of reserve sums, and all that is collected above the complement must be returned into circulation. On these sums will be organized public works. The initiative in works of this kind, proceeding from the state sources, will blind the working class firmly to the interests of the state and to those who reign. From these same sums, also a part will be set aside as rewards for the investiveness and productiveness. So, they're going to take people's money and take it and use it wherever the fuck they want, and then they're going to set aside a part to reward people for their shit. This is, it's kind of happening now, too. That's basically what they're doing. They're just awarding all these people for doing fuck shit. Alright. Let's try to get through it as fast as we can. This bullshit. Let's see. On no account should so much as a single unit above the definite and freely estimated sums be retained in the state treasuries, for money exists to be circulated at any kind of stagnation of money acts ruinously on the running of the state machinery. So they can't have like stagnant money. They always got to be like pumping it in and out. This is why America, that's how they got America so fucked, is because they pumped out, it's that inflation shit. There's too much money out for what's it's not circulating. There's too much. Like it's a big old fuckery. This is why they say they have to keep everything going. For which is the lubricant, a stagnation of the lubricant may stop the regular working of the mechanism. The substitution of interest-bearing paper for a part of the token of exchange has produced exactly this stagnation. The consequences of this circumstance are already sufficiently noticeable. So even back then, they could tell that what the system that they set up was, producing stagnation. A court of account will also be instituted by us, and in it the ruler will find at any moment a full account of their state income and expenditure, with the exception of the current monthly account not yet made up and that of the preceding month which will not yet have been delivered. The one and only person who will have no interest in robbing the state is its owner, the ruler. This is why his personal control will remove the possibility of leakage of extravagances. So they're going to put everything underneath their, Lucifer King. The representative function of the ruler at receptions for the sake of etiquette, which absorbs so much invaluable time, will be abolished in order that the ruler may have time for control and consideration. His power will not then be split up into fractional parts among the time-serving favorites who surround the throne for its pomp and splendor, and are interests only in their own and not in the common interests of the state. So basically everything's going to be centralized under this one ruler. Economic crises have been produced by us for the Goyim by no other means than the withdrawal of money from circulation. So that's how they fucking cause all this economic crisis. They just, take all the money out of the system, which is what's coming for America. Huge capitals have been stagnated, withdrawing money from states, which were constantly obliged to apply to those same stagnant capitals for loans. These loans burdened the finances of the states with the payment of interest and made them the bond slaves of these capitals, which has already happened to such a bad extent, it's not even funny. The concentration of industry into the hands of the capitalists out of the hands of small masters has drained away all the juices of the peoples and with them also of the states. The present issue of money in general does not correspond with the requirements per head and cannot therefore satisfy all the needs of the workers. The issue of money ought to correspond with the growth. So they're saying they know that this shit's fucked up and it can't last. Correspond with the growth of population, and thereby children also must absolutely be reckoned as consumers of currency from the day of their birth. This is why they own your ass with the birth certificate, man. Your property, dude. Since the day you're fucking born, you're gonna be a consumer. You're just gonna be that collateral. This revision of issue is a material question for the whole world. You are aware that the global standard has been the ruin of the states, the gold standard, that the gold standard has been the ruin of the states which have adopted it. For it has not been able to satisfy the demands for money, the more so that we have removed gold from circulation as far as possible. So see, they own all the gold. They took all the gold out of the circulation, and then they get people to try to get back on the gold standard, which they're trying to get people to convince that that's what's good for America. But the problem is that they own all the fucking gold. So, either way, they got your ass. With us, the standard must be introduced in the cost of working man power, whether it be reckoned in paper or in wood. We shall make the issue of money in accordance with the normal requirements of each subject, adding to the quantity with every birth and subtracting with every death. So they're going to set everybody up with a set limit money thing, and then whenever people die, they'll take away the money, and whenever people are born, they'll give you a little more. It's kind of like food stamps. The accounts will be managed by each department, the French Administrative Division, and each circle. In order that there may be no delays in the paying out of money for state needs, the sums and terms of such payment will be fixed by decree of the ruler. This will do away with the protection by a ministry of one institution to the detriment of others. The budgets of income and expenditure will be carried outside by side, that they may not be obscured by distance one to another. The reforms projected by us in the financial institutions and principles of the Goyim will be clothed by us in such forms that will alarm nobody. So they just, they're the veil, man. They veil everything up, dude, and they're gonna cover it to where nobody even fucking knows, man. They don't want to alarm anybody with their shit. We shall point out that the necessity of reforms in consequence of the disorderly darkness into which the Goyim, by their irregularities, have plunged the finances. So they're blaming, even though they're the ones that did this, they're blaming everyone else for it. The first irregularity, as we shall point out, consists in their beginning with drawing up a single budget which year after year grows owing to the following cause. This budget is dragged out to half the year. Then they demand a budget to put things right, and this they expend in 3 months, which they ask for a supplementary budget, and all this ends with a liquidation budget. But as the budget of the following year is drawn up in accordance with the sum of the total addition, the annual departure from the normal reaches as much as 50% in a year, and so the annual budget is trebled in 10 years. Thanks to such methods allowed by the carelessness of the Goy states, their treasuries are empty. So basically, that's how they fuck them with the whole budget, the Obama signing the damn fucking whatever the hell fucking money acts, all this shit, all the fucking fuck shit that they do with the money screws them over, man. Like their budgets for the year. This is why that we keep going into debt. 17 trillion, then 18 trillion, then 19 trillion. It's always debt, because they have them fucked up in this goddamn game. This little, it's called fractional reserved banking, man. You know, they invented the shit. The period. We almost done with this shit. Yeah, it's almost there. Woo! All right. The period of loans supervenes that that has swallowed up the remainders and brought all the Goy states to bankruptcy. So it's all about these loans. They get everybody on loans. You understand? Remember and that goes into the scripture when I did my Serpent Power series and I did the thing about the Nakash and I broke it down in the Hebrew and it said that these damn fucking enchanters would oppress you with loans, man. That's how they oppress everybody. They just loan shit to them, and then they fucking use interest and usury and all kinds of crap. You understand perfectly that the economic arrangements of this kind, which have been suggested to the Goyim by us, cannot be carried on by us. So they're like, well, we can fuck them up with it, but we can't do the same things for ourselves. Every kind of loan proves infirmity in the state and a want of understanding of the rights of the state. Loans hang like a sword of Damocles. So they're always referencing these fucking pagan gods over the heads of rulers who, instead of taking from their subjects by a temporary tax, come begging with outstretched palms to our bankers. Foreign loans are leeches which there is no possibility of removing from the body of the state until they fall off of themselves or the state flings them off. So right there, foreign loans, and what? Then don't we have massive foreign debt to China and shit? But the Goy states do not tear them off. They go on in persisting in putting more onto themselves so that they must inevitably perish, drained by voluntary bloodletting. So that's what's happening with America and the rest of the states right now. They're just voluntarily bloodletting. They're just bleeding the fuck out, waiting to die. What also indeed is in substance a loan, especially a foreign loan. A loan is an issue of government bills of exchange containing a percentage of obligation commensurate to the sum of the loan capital. If the loan bears a charge of 5%, then in 20 years the state vainly pays away in interest a sum equal to the loan borrowed. In 40 years it is paying a double sum, in 60 treble or triple, and all the while the debt remains in unpaid debt. So that's how they got everybody fucked up. That's fractional reserve banking. That's what a central bank does. They just automatically, as soon as they loan you the cash, they put interest on it and it fucks you. From this calculation, it is obvious that with any form of taxation per head, the state is bailing out the last coppers of the poor taxpayers in order to settle accounts with wealthy foreigners, from whom it has borrowed money instead of collecting these coppers from its own needs without the additional interest. So basically that's all they're trying to do right now is try to consolidate, get everything together so they could pay off the foreign debts so that they could just screw over the people and stuff like that. But it's not even gonna get that far because these motherfuckers don't care about America anymore. They don't care about Esau anymore. They're gonna come and stab him in the back, just like Obadiah says. So long as loans were internal, the Goyim only shuffled their money from the pockets of the poor to those of the rich. But when we brought up the necessary persons in order to transfer loans into the external sphere, all the wealth of states flowed into our cash boxes, and all the Goyim began to pay us the tribute of subjects. So as soon as the foreign loans and all that shit started, then basically everyone became subject to the Jews and don't even know it. If the superficiality of Goy kings on their thrones in regard to the state affairs and the venality of ministers or the want of understanding of financial matters on the part of their ruling persons have made their countries debtors to our treasuries to amounts quite impossible to pay, like $17 trillion, it has not been accomplished without, in our part, heavy expenditure of trouble and money. So see, and Greece tried to get rid of that, and what? They just keep having riots. They keep fucking bailing. They're gonna bail out of the euro. It's just, it's a fucking mess, man. Stagnation of money will not be allowed by us, and therefore will be no state interest-bearing paper except a 1% series, so that there will be no payment of interest to leeches that suck all the strength out of the state. The right to issue interest-bearing paper will be given exclusively to industrial companies who will find no difficulty in paying interest out of profits, whereas the state does not make interest on borrowed money like these companies, for the state borrows to spread and not to use in operations. So they got all the states fucked by putting all the money into the hands of the industrialists. Industrial papers will be bought also by the government, which from being as now a paper of tribute by loan operations will be transformed into a lender of money at a profit. This measure will stop the stagnation of money, parasitic profits, and idleness, and all of which were useful for us among the Goyim so long as they were independent but are not desirable under our rule. So see, as long as the Goy kingdoms are independent, they're willing to use all this interest shit and all that crap. But once it comes under their rule, they're not going to use it. How clear is the underdeveloped power of thought of the purely brute brains of the Goyim? So see, you have underdeveloped power, your thought of thought, and your purely brute brains, your fucking speed, your cattle, you don't have working brain, all this shit, man. As expressed in the fact that they have been borrowing from us with payment of interest without ever thinking that all the same these very monies plus an addition for payment of interest must be got by them from their own state pockets in order to settle up with us. So, everyone's stupid. What could have been simpler than to take the money they wanted from their own people? They're like, come on, man, these guys didn't even think about the shit. But it is a proof of the genius of our chosen mind that we have contrived to present the matter of loans to them in such a light that they have even seen in them an advantage for themselves. So basically, the Jews taught everybody because they think they're so fucking genius and shit. So fucking cool. Red-shirted asses, right? Everybody that knows that movie, Grandma's Boy. But anyway, it says right here that it's an advantage for them that even everybody's starting to pick up the fact that if you do loans, you can gain some type of advantage. Our accounts, which we shall present when the time comes, in the light of centuries of experience gained by experiments made by us on the Goy states, will be distinguished by clearness and definiteness, and will show that at a glance to all men the advantage of our innovations. They will put an end to those abuses to which we owe our mastery over the Goyim, but which cannot be allowed in our kingdom. So they're like, well, we're going to show basically everything we used against you guys can't be used against us. These guys are some shiesty bastards, man. All right, we're almost done with Protocol 20, man. And then the end of the book is not far away. We shall so hedge about our system of accounting that neither the ruler nor the most insignificant public servant will be in a position to divert even the smallest sum from its destination without detection, or to direct it in another direction except that which we will be once fixed in a definite plan of action. So they control where all the money goes, and you think that you're doing shit on your own. And without a definite plan, it is impossible to rule. Marching along with us underdetermined road and with an undetermined resources brings to ruin by the way heroes and demigods. The Goy rulers, whom we once upon a time advised should be distracted from state occupations by representatives' receptions, observances, and etiquette entertainments, were only screens for our rule. So all these guys are just fucking screens, man. There's just a bunch of fucking clowns. They're, fucking puppets. The accounts of favorite courtiers who replaced them in the sphere of affairs were drawn up for them by our agents, and every time gave satisfaction to the short-sighted minds by promises that in the future economies and improvements were foreseen. And so this is how they fuck everyone. Oh, everything will get better, everything will get better. And their agents just keep placing and replacing these fucking stupid so-called presidents, which are just puppets. Got everybody fucking fooled to go along with their plan. Economies from what? From new taxes? Were questions that might have been but were not asked by those who read our accounts and projects. You know to what they have been brought by this carelessness, to what pitch of financial disorder they have arrived, notwithstanding the astonishing industry of their people. So these guys are they're laughing at you, man. They're laughing at everybody of how fucking stupid everyone is and how they were able to just control everybody like fucking cattle. To what I reported to you at the last meeting, this is number 21, I shall now add a detailed explanation of internal loans. Of foreign loans I shall say nothing more, because they have fed us with the national monies of the Goyim. But for our state there will be no foreigners, that is nothing external. So they're like, oh, we got everybody else loaning to everybody else, but we're not going to do that shit. We have taken advantage of the venality of the administrators and slackness of the rulers to get our monies twice, thrice, and more times over by lending to the Goy government's monies which were not at all needed by the states. So they got everybody convinced that they needed loans from them, and then as soon as they took the loans, they controlled everybody. They control fucking everybody through these damn loans. Could anyone do the like in regard to us? Therefore, I shall only deal with the details of internal loans. So they're like, yeah, no one. They don't think anybody else would be able to do that to them. States announce that such a loan is to be concluded and open subscriptions for their own bills of exchange, that is, for their interest-bearing paper, that they may be within the reach of all the price is determined at a form of 100 to 1,000, and a discount is made for the earliest subscribers. Next day, by artificial means, the price of them goes up, and the alleged reason being that everyone is rushing to buy them. In a few days, the treasury safes are, as they say, overflowing, and there's more money than they can even do with. And why then take it? The subscription, it is alleged, covers many times over the issued total of the loan. In this lies the whole stage effect. Look you, they say, what confidence is shown in the government's bills of exchange. So they mindfuck you. They get, it's just a big old fucking game. It's a stage. It's a fucking stage. They get you to, they price everything. They mindfuck you, tell you, oh, well, the reason why oil's up is because it's such a demand, and fucking all this shit. Just with everything. The food, food prices going up, blah, 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 all this shit. It's just a goddamn game to get you to siphon the money wherever the fuck they want you to siphon the damn money. It's ridiculous. But when the comedy is played out, it's a comedy to them. When the comedy is played out, there emerges the fact that a debit and an exceedingly burdensome debit has been created, or debt, for the payment of interest. It becomes necessary to have recourse to new loans, which do not swallow up but only add to the capital debt. And when this credit is exhausted, it becomes necessary for new taxes to cover, not the loan, but only the interest on it. These taxes are a debt employed to cover a debt. So basically they just got you getting loans on top of loans to pay debts and debts on top of debts, but you never fucking, you're just paying interest the whole time. You're never damaging the real debt. Later comes the time for conversions, but they diminish the payment of interest without covering the debt, and besides they cannot be made without the consent of the lenders. On announcing a conversion, a proposal is made to return the money to those who are not willing to convert their paper. If everybody expressed his unwillingness and demanded his money back, the government would be hooked on their own flies and would be found insolvent and unable to pay the proposed sums. So if all these people, called back their loans and called their debts, America and these people would be fucked. By good luck, the subjects of the Goy governments, knowing nothing about financial affairs, have always preferred losses on exchange and diminution of interest to the risk of new investments of their monies, and have thereby many a time enabled these governments to throw off their shoulders a debt of several millions. But see, now it's to the point where it's fucking trillions, and now everybody's fucked. It says, nowadays, with external loans, these tricks cannot be played by the Goyim, for they know that we will demand all our monies back. So they know that nobody can do really anything, because all they have to do is call their little loans, call their money, and everyone would be fucked. In this way, an acknowledged bankruptcy will best prove to the various countries the absence of any means between the interests of the people and of those who rule them. So they don't really give a fuck about any of you. They just want to rule and be the masters of the motherfucking universe and fucking He-Man shit. Alright. I beg you to concentrate your particular attention upon this point and upon the following. Nowadays, all the internal loans are consolidated by so-called flying loans, that is, such as have terms of payment more or less near. These debts consist of monies paid into the savings banks and reserve funds. If left for a long at the disposition of a government, these funds evaporate in the payment of interest on foreign loans and are placed by the deposit of equivalent amounts of rentes. and these last it is which patch up all the leaks of the state treasuries of the Goyim. When we ascend the throne of the world, all these financials and similar shifts, as being not in accord with our interests, will be swept away so as not to leave a trace. As also will be destroyed all money markets, since we shall not allow the prestige of our power to be shaken by fluctuations of prices set upon our values, which we shall announce by law at the price of which represents their full worth without any possibility of lowering or raising. Raising gives the pretext for lowering, which indeed was where we made a beginning in relation to the value of the Goyim. So basically, they mind-fucked you with this whole goddamn scheme of the world. It's the fucking Matrix, man. They got your ass fucking locked up, and then they're gonna destroy your little fucking world, and they're gonna be like, yeah, this is the fucking price for fucking everything, and we don't give a shit. And they get to control everything, and they get to dictate everything, and nobody gets to do anything. They've total control. You have to worship Lucifer. We shall replace the money markets by grandiose government credit institutions, the object of which will be to fix the price of industrial values in accordance with the government views. These institutions will be in a position to fling upon the market 500 millions of industrial papers in one day, or to buy up for the same amount. But you know they're going to switch it from paper to electronics. In this way, all industrial undertakings, and it's not even millions, it's trillions. In this way, all industrial undertakings will come into dependence upon us. You may imagine for yourselves that the immense power we shall thereby secure for ourselves. And yes, they have a lot of power because the Most High gave the world into the hand of the wicked. For all you Job haters, right? Protocol number 22. We're almost done. There's only 24 of them. And all that has so far been reported to me by me to you, I have endeavored to depict with care the secret of what is coming, of what is past, and of what is going on now, rushing into the flood of the great events coming already. Let's see. In the near future, the secret of our relations to the Goyim and of the financial operations on this subject, there remains a little for me to add. In our hands is the greatest power of our day, gold. In 2 days, we can procure from our storehouses any quantity we may please. So they have so much gold that they could fucking pull out as much as they want. Surely there is no need to seek further proof of our rule in the predestined is predestined by God. So they're like, oh, this is all predestined by God, you know, which is their God is fucking Satan. Surely we shall not fail with such wealth to prove that all the evil which for so many centuries we have had to commit. They think that they fucking had to commit this shit, man. They had to do. They fucking think that and really honestly they did have to do this, and has served at the end of ends the cause of true well-being. But you know, that's not true. We will get the true well-being when the Most High smashes all this bullshit out, but their shit is not true well-being. The bringing of everything into order, though it be even by the exercise of some violence, yet all the same it will be established. So they don't really care whether it's with violence or not. Well, actually they want it with violence. We shall contrive to prove that we are the benefactors who have restored to the rent and mangled earth the true good and also freedom of the person. They're the ones that fucking rent and mangled the earth, man. Was not the Roman Empire the one that smashed at the earth and fucking made it destroyed and shit? The iron? Come on, man. And therewith we shall enable it to be enjoyed in the peace and quiet, with proper dignity of relations, on the condition, of course, of strict observance of the laws established by us. So everything will be cool as long as you follow them, right? We shall make plain therewith that freedom does not consist in dissipation and in the right of unbridled license any more than the dignity and force of a man do not consist in the right for everyone to promulgate destructive principles in the nature of freedom of consciousness. So basically they're saying that you don't have any fucking freedom. Equality and the like, that freedom of the person is nowise consists in the right to agitate oneself and others by abominable speeches before disorderly mobs. So, you know, that eventually that's how the Toranites are going to be viewed as abominable speakers before disorderly mobs. And that the true freedom consists in the inviolability of the person who honorably and strictly observes all the laws of life in common. So, you know, true freedom is following their laws. See, they don't want you to follow the real true laws of the Torah. They want you to follow their laws. That human dignity is wrapped up in the consciousness of the rights and also of the absence of rights of each, and not wholly and solely in fantastic imaginings about the subject of one's ego. So they got everybody on their egos. One authority will be glorious because it will be all-powerful. and will rule and guide and not muddle along after leaders and orators, shrieking themselves hoarse with senseless words, which they call great principles and which are nothing else, to speak honestly, but utopian. So basically they're like, yeah, everybody that's going around now, your Martin Luther Kings, all your fucking leaders, your Obamas and your fucking Gaddafis and whatever the hell, the ones in authority, they all of them are just a bunch of fucking senseless assholes, senseless words, and they just want everything under their all-powerful authority. Our authority will be the crown of order, and in that is included the whole happiness of man. God damn, they think that fucking that's the happiness of man, dude. The aureole of this authority will inspire a mystical bowing of the knee before it and a reverent fear before it of all the peoples. That's fucking hard, man. Didn't the Most High say that all knees will bow to him? And now they're saying that it's mystical. See, it's mystifying. It's fucking enchanting. These guys are nakashas, man. And it says that they will mystify everyone into bowing the knee before them and to reverent fear before of it all the peoples. And what is it? What the Most High says, you're supposed to fear him, not these fucking assholes. True force makes no terms with any right. So it's about their true force, not even with that of God. None dare come near to it as to take so much as a span from it away. So true force, man, they're all about force, and they say that not even the Most High can stand up to true force. Like, what the fuck? What the kind of boasting is that, man? That's some devil. See, this is why these motherfuckers gotta be wiped the hell out. Straight the fuck up. That's some fucking, god damn it. Alright, let's keep going. We're on protocol 23 now. Keep it pushing. We're almost done. And the peoples may become accustomed to obedience. It is necessary to inculcate lessons of humility and therefore to reduce the production of articles of luxury. By this we shall improve morals which have been debased by emulation in the sphere of luxury. We shall re-establish small master production, which will mean laying a mine under the private capital of manufacturers. So basically they got everybody to be decadent, and then now they're going to take it all away from everybody. This is the indispensable also for the reason that manufacturers on the grand scale often move, though not always consciously, the thoughts of the masses in directions against the government. So, all these manufacturers and people that dispense all these things to people on the grand scale, they're actually pushing people to go against the governments because they want to crash the governments with their own shit. A people of small masters knows nothing of unemployment, and this binds him closely with the existing order and consequently with the firmness of authority. For us, its part will have been played out the moment authority is transferred into our hands. Drunkenness also will be prohibited by law and punishable as a crime against the humaneness of man who is turned into a brute under the influence of alcohol. So first they pump all the alcohol into everybody, and then they're going to be like, oh, well, when we rule, it's banished. Fucking stupid. That's how they destroyed the goddamn northern tribes, man, the natives and shit. They fucking pumped them full of alcohol. Now that shit's fucking the biggest problem. It's ridiculous. Subjects, I repeat once more, give blind obedience only to the strong hand which is absolutely independent of them, for in it they feel the sword for defense and support against social scourges. What do they want with an angelic spirit in a king? What they have to see in him is the personification of force and power. So they're like, oh, well, because remember, it says the house, this is a shot at the scripts, because remember, it says the house of David will be like the angel of the Most High. Right? And what they're saying, what the fuck do you want with an angelic spirit and a king? What you want is a king with power and force. See, they're all about force. Remember, the right lies in force? The Supreme Lord who will replace all now existing rulers, dragging in their existence among societies demoralized by us, societies that have denied even the authority of God, from whose midst breathes out on all sides the fire of anarchy. And this is what Albert Pike was talking about, right? Must first of all proceed to quench this all-devouring flame. Therefore he will be obliged to kill off those existing societies, though he should drench them with his own blood, that he may resurrect them again in the form of regularly organized troops fighting consciously with every kind of infection that may cover the body of the state with sores. So basically they cause everybody to become atheists so they can release anarchy into the world, and then this so-called supreme lord of theirs is going to fucking destroy atheism and bring them up as good organized troops that fight for him. Good job, atheists. This chosen one of God is chosen from above to demolish the senseless forces moved by instinct and not reason, by brutishness and not humaneness. Is that not what they're doing? Man, these guys are fucking twisted, man. It's not even fucking... Dude, these forces now triumph in manifestations of robbery of every kind, of violence under the mask of principles of freedom and rights. They have overthrown all forms of social order to erect on the ruins the throne of the King of the Jews. But their part will be played out the moment he enters into his kingdom. Then it will be necessary to sweep them away from his path, on which must be left no knot, no splinter. So they're just using everybody. They're using everybody to as violence, to bring violence and under the guise of freedoms and rights, to fuck up the social order so that they can erect their fucking King of the Jews and shit, right? Then will it be possible for us to say that the peoples of the world give thanks to God and bow the knee before him who bears on his front the seal of the predestination of man, to which God himself has led his star, that none other but him might free us from all the before mentioned forces and evils. So, and that's, they think that they're God. And that's the star, the star of Moloch. They are, when it says the star of Moloch, because people are, the fucking shield of David's the star of Moloch. No, you fucking retards. How about you go in the Hebrew and break that shit down? It fucking means a person, a high. It could also mean a prince. Like, this is their prince. This is their star, man. This is the star of Moloch. This is their shit. This is it. It's not even worth explaining to you guys. Keep moving. I just want to finish this. Protocol number 24. I pass now to the method of confirming the dynasty's roots of King David to the last strata of the earth. So basically, they think that their ruler is a descendant of King David. It's like the Merovingian bloodline, you know? This confirmation will first and foremost be included in that which is today has rested the force of conservatism by our learned elders of this conduct of all the affairs of the world, in the directing of the educating thought of all humanity. I'm going to do a lesson. I'm going to start bringing out some books and shit showing exactly, there's a specific group, the Priory of Zion, that actually protects this bloodline. I'm going to expose all this shit. Certain members of the seed of David will prepare the kings and their heirs, selecting not by right of heritage, but by the eminent capacities, inducting them into the most secret mysteries of the political, into schemes of the government, by providing always that none may come to the knowledge of the secrets. The object of this mode of action is that all may know that the government cannot be entrusted to those who have not been inducted into the secret place of its art, which their art is mystery school shit. Faggotry. To these persons only will be taught the practical application of the aforementioned plans by comparison to the experience of many centuries. All the observations on the political, economic moves on social sciences, in a word, all the spirit of laws which have been unshakably established by nature herself for the regulation of the relations of humanity. Man, these guys really think that they are the fucking shit. Direct heirs will often be set aside from ascending to the throne if in their time of training they exhibit frivolity, softness, and other qualities that are the ruin of authority, which render them incapable of governing and in themselves dangerous for kingly office. Only those who are unconditionally capable for firm, even if it to be cruelty, direct rule, will receive the reins of rule from our learned elders. So, their learned elders will always choose even the king. In case of falling sick, because remember, 13 witches, man, you guys don't even know. You got the Great White Brotherhood, man, you guys don't even motherfucking know. In case of falling sick, this is just the Great Red Brotherhood. The Jews and all that, you don't even know about the Great White Brotherhood. In case of falling sick with weakness or will or of other forms of incapacity, kings must by law hand over the reins of rule to new and capable hands. The king's plan of action for the current moment, and all the more so far the future, will be unknown even to those who are called his closest counselors. So like I said, it's all going to come from a central, he's not even going to be their shit. Only the king and 3 who stood sponsor for him will know what is coming. So see, he even has to have sponsors. Man, it's on such a high level. In the person of the king, with who is with unbending will is master of himself and of humanity, all will discern as it were the fate with its mysterious ways. None will know what the king wishes to attain by his dispositions, and therefore none will dare to stand across an unknown path. So they're going to keep everything in mystery, that because everyone's afraid to cross unknown paths. It is understood that the brain reservoir of the king must correspond in capacity to the plan of the government it has to contain. It is for this reason that he will ascend the throne not otherwise than after examination of his mind after the aforesaid learned elders. So basically, he has to go in front of the Great White Brotherhood, and these motherfuckers are going to see whether he's possessed enough or not. That the people may know and love their king, it is indispensable for him to converse with the marketplaces with this people. This ensures the necessary clinching of the two forces which are now divided one from another by us by the terror. This terror was indispensable for us till the time comes for both these forces separately to fall under our influence. They play both sides. The king of the Jews must not be at the mercy of his passions, and especially of sensuality. On no side. This is why everyone's like, oh, no emotions, no emotions, no emotions. I mean, to have bad emotions, you know what it. Don't. Why am I even bothering? On no side of his character must he give brute instincts power over his mind. Sensuality, worse than all else, disorganizes the capacities of the mind and clearness of views, distracting the thoughts of the worst and most brutal side of human activity. The prop of humanity in the person of the Supreme Lord. See, the prop of humanity. He's a fucking prop. In the humanity of the person of the Supreme Lord of all the world of the holy seed of David must sacrifice to his people all personal inclinations. So they even are going to control this so-called holy seed of David. Our Supreme Lord must be of an exemplary irreproachability. So basically, but he's just a clown. He's just a fucking. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's man. Anyway, so that was all the protocols. Piece of shits. 24 of them. Protocols of Zion. World Zionist Congress. Released in 1897. Within the book, The Synagogue of Satan, we're going to be bringing more stuff out of this. We're going to be talking about how the Holocaust was bullshit. We're going to be talking about how the Jews, are Edomites, all the shit, man. This book has a lot of shit. Anyways, just wanted to end it out. Man, my brain hurts from all this. So yeah, fuck the Jews. Fuck their shit. Fuck everybody that supports it. You guys are assholes. And shout out again to the dude that watches my videos and transcribes my shit. Good job, homie. Hope you had your coffee today. All praises to the Most High Yahweh, Yahweh Akkad, Shema Yashra Allah, Yahweh Allahayana, Yahweh Akkad, Kal Halal, Yahweh Akkad, and Shalom Akiyam.